We're coming at you live from the B&B.
It's the first ever in-person podcast. We're not trying to be too loud because it's a little bit later at night, but yeah, this is for Luke's birthday, of course. We're going to be doing another Conroy special.
My favorite animated film in the DC animated box set.
Well, and this is another reason why I'm a big fan of...
My bad, that was on me.
Well, I'm a big fan of
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze as a character, and
They
how
really make you sympathize with the guy.
Yeah, and they did that in
'Cause
the
it's
show with Heart of Glass. Was the episode, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a very special Drawn to DC where we're going to be doing a live commentary of Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero. So
Subzero.
Luke, how many times have you watched this movie?
As a kid, I burnt the VHS. I'm pretty sure I watched it so
wow.
much that it essentially exploded.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
There's a couple of VHSs from my childhood. One of them was like a Monster Jam home video.
Nice.
Watched that I don't know how many nights in a row. I just loved it. But
I always watched this. Lion King was a very, very prominent movie in my repertoire. Spider-Man, the Raimi number one.
2002.
Shrek 2. Don't know why. But and then the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Wow.
And Blank Check were like
Blank Check.
those two
what a
movies
classic.
were like I go to Captain Video when I'd stay to my grandma's and I could get rent a movie. So it was either Power Rangers or Blank Check. But Sub-Zero was like
in a heavy rotation.
in the heavy rotation of my
All right,
go-to
so
when my tummy hurts and I need to watch a film.
For those watching or listening, we are pressing play right now.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy your feature presentation. As we are continuing, there it is, starting now.
Yeah. Took a little bit to
Me.
get rolling.
Don't copyright me for that.
What?
I did the Bugs Bunny What's Up.
Great. That's the last thing we need. Freaking copyright.
Also, Warner Brothers, guys, man. You should call us to write for DC, just saying.
After the strikes.
Yeah, sure.
Come on. Don't want to be a scab.
But if you offer us enough money, we might do it.
Look at that logo. Big 3D logo.
Dude, this intro is
It's frozen.
sick.
Subzero.
Get over here.
Different franchise.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's cool.
So we start underwater.
Deep in the Arctic Ocean, we find a man swimming with the fishes.
Still frustrating that it just says Bob Kane. Batman.
Yeah.
Bill Finger didn't get his due until much later.
Until like
Well after he was dead.
Because it wasn't at BVS. It was like the first time
Yeah.
his name was on there.
Which is annoying, but you know.
Yeah, Bob Kane was
Dude, shout out to Andrea Romano. She was the the lead director for the voice actors in the show, and she's like that's why the performances are so good in these shows, because she's such a good director.
Well, this is the reason why I like the Riddler so much too, is because his like whole origin is phenomenal, and then he does the giant maze thing.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
Again, it's kind of crazy how much they do with the character of Mr. Freeze on the show, and it's completely ignored in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. It's just
because every character had to be kind of like the Joker for some reason.
take two of these. Call me in the morning.
The Ice Age.
Dude, that's please, friend. Doctor, will you help me?
Sure.
Sure.
Whatever you say. Yeah, we're going to do...
Just so happen to have the cure right here.
Fair warning, we're going to do a lot of Schwarzenegger, even though it's not a Schwarzenegger movie.
What killed the dinosaur?
The Ice Age. Chill. Come on, everyone.
Adam and Evil.
Jesus, I forgot he said that. I love it when they do these like interior sub shots where it's like this big
and it's like
red light
highlighted.
It's just saturated by the red light.
The amount of detail in this is ridiculous because like this part right here, when he stands up and the ice cracks from his body, like what? Like this right here.
Oh,
dude, like nuts. On a cartoon from the 90s, man.
The 90s. Dude. It is kind of, again, it's just kind of always surprised me how invested Warner Brothers is with animation. Like, even, you know, here, knowing what they had with the show and putting these TV movies out, and like
it's like right here too. You give him a little bit more redemption because he's helping this kid who lost his family.
Yeah,
like he's trying to help take care of him. Like, come on, he's
nice.
not a bad guy.
No, you know, it's nice that it's a tragic character
because you know he's got more motive than a lot of the people.
Nora,
because like. Joker doesn't have a motive. That's his whole thing. Riddler's like, I want to be smarter than you.
Harvey's given up on the justice system, so he's like, I'm going to just kill like people. I don't care.
Everything's made to chance.
Everything's a coin toss, yeah.
So you could die today, you could die tomorrow, you could live forever. We don't know.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab my water. I mean, I can take the mic with me, I guess.
I named my daughter after Nora Freeze. It's not true, but
I guess I could have I just took the mic with me.
Look what I found.
This is groundbreaking commentary, by the way. This is like NPR commentary. This is Batman and Mr. Freeze, Subzero.
Coming at you live.
Nora, come on. Stop being frozen.
Nora, my love.
Don't die. Of course, yeah. I'll never forget. Well, Alfred just happens to have this very rare disease that Nora had.
Right. But it's
could use
early,
this to save
the early stages because I know you were working on a cure. McGregor syndrome, stage 1.
It's called McGregor's, a.k.a. plot device.
We only got 11 minutes to thaw the city. I got this. No, I got this.
Oh, Nora.
We're going to have to do this upside down. Boys.
What an interesting... So you can see they're kind of starting to play with 3D stuff
like,
more.
Like randomly. Because even the Phantasm had like some random shit like that.
Isn't this in 98?
I think so. But I love the little subtle sun reflecting off the ice where it like twinkles.
Yeah. Of course the polar bears dig them out.
Oh no, my wife. Nora.
It is, yeah. I've always loved how they treated his character. And I really do hope that Matt Reeves does, because I saw some of the rumors. I don't know what are true about who's going to be the villain in the Batman Part 2. But I really do hope that if they get to do Mr. Freeze, like Matt Reeves does the character justice. And I think he would.
Dude, people fucking troll the Riddler so hard in this. And I'm like, dude, It's creepy as shit. Because this is what I've always wanted. I wanted a Saw type, like a Jigsaw type, creepy dude.
Because we've already seen the silly, campy Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Because the Riddler is... He's just trying to be smarter than you. He wants to make it as easy as possible and still trick you.
Let's be like, look how smart I am. It took you so long. I could have figured this out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Took you a week, and look at all that died, and blah, 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 blah. 'Cause I'm a real... Wow, what a swipe. The car just swipes into the next frame.
This guy is fucking... Let me introduce the characters real quick.
You know what we've talked about it on this show, is why I've really come to appreciate animation, is just how much this whole movie, it's only an hour and 6 minutes, but how much had to be plotted out, thought out, and like everything has to work.
This old man is like, I'm going to kick this young whippersnapper's booty. And then he gets his ass kicked. Myron!
Wow.
That's great. That's Freakazoid. You ever watch that show?
Yeah, of course. Of course I used to watch Freakazoid, man.
Dude, I know he's already Deadpool, but I feel like he would be a good Freakazoid. Right?
I do not want a
Carrey?
live-action Freakazoid.
Jim Carrey would be cool. You know, honestly, that's what the Flash movie was. It was a Freakazoid movie. Because Ezra is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I love the cape over the hood.
Yes.
Love it. Oh no, it's the Batman. In the crank window.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could tell this was made in 98.
Dude, it's so badass.
It's kind of funny as the more
I like this design for Robin too.
The more stories I've read and the more movies I've watched and stuff of Batman, the more when you learn that he's just kind of insane is what kind of makes it better. Because the fact, like, he gets off on these scare tactic shit, you know? And that's kind of what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
Is that he's...
And I like this Robin costume from the animated series. Because
this is Tim Drake, right?
No, this is Dick.
Oh, okay.
They skip Jason and they go to Tim in the New Adventures.
Right.
So they get Nightwing, which the mullet is fantastic. But like, I like that he's wearing pants, and it's kind of like more of a teenager. Like, he kind of graduated from the underwear.
Although I feel like, and I understand why it's more flashy in like the comics and on the animation stuff, but like, wouldn't you think his uniform would be a little bit more stealthy?
Well,
because Batman's all about stealth.
Because they explain that in Titans, which is so hit and miss with this show. But Jason,
like the live action show,
like Jason tells Dick when they're talking, he's like, "Well, so you're the new Robin." Blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about the suit. And he's like, you know why it's bright, dude? It's because we're taking the attention away from him so we can kick their asses. He's like, I'm supposed to be a target. You know, he's a distraction.
Yeah, dude, he's
Batman
bait.
Can do his...
Oh. What if every time... Dude,
he took a
somebody
stealth
needs
move
to edit that and take like every like stealthy Batman character
that'd be fucking awesome
moment and just say or just play like Arkham Knight and just do like a stealth mission and
we can do that for Gotham Knights.
No, because you always fuck up the stealth in that.
That's true. That's true. Because it's super hard. Okay.
but it is fun playing.
I also like this where it's kind of homemade Batgirl costume.
Yeah.
I dig that. And I always prefer the Batgirl cowl versus the domino.
Oh, yeah.
Not a big fan of Batgirl with the
actually
domino.
over the top of her head.
Yeah. And I feel like her hair shouldn't be sticking out. Like, I know it's cool for the character, but it's like, clearly she's a redhead. Whereas, like, Batwoman...
Are you talking about, like, putting in, like, a wig? Like, putting it up?
No, like, just tucking it.
That's a lot of hair, though.
I know, but I'm just... I know, I get why, but at the same time, I'm like... Which is even funnier because Batwoman wears a wig.
Yeah.
Like, that's just kind of dumb.
In the Bad Blood movie? Batman Bad Blood, previous episode. Bam.
Did you see the Catwoman movie? Because Batwoman's in there, and they have this weird, like... Catwoman...
Isn't that one that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah.
No,
it's like super anime. But Catwoman is like trying to get with everyone, so she's like trying to seduce Kate and trying to seduce Bruce and all that stuff. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wasn't it like Catwoman
she
unmasked or something like that?
She steals some shit, and then like gets on the plane and like steals shit again. I don't know. It's weird. I like this dude's bright blue eyes too.
Bright blue eyes. It is. They do really stand out. Kind of weird. You know what's always made it weird about this style is like sometimes their eyes have white in them, and then sometimes they don't have color, and like and there's just like the pupils. And I don't like. I like that shot right there. The guy in front of the camera.
Well, it's like certain characters. Their face design it like requires pupils, and like some of them are just pupils.
And then some of them just like that look like their eyes are really squinted.
Yeah.
Barbara Gordon. Kind of weird.
I really wish they would release the Batgirl movie.
Oh,
like
the one that
pissed.
cost them $90 million while the Flash cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. I know.
Where they basically finished it and they were like, you know what?
No.
We're not going to release this.
You know how bad everybody wanted to see Brendan is it Fraser?
Fraser?
You know how bad they could have rode that momentum off The Whale?
Yeah, dude, because he was fucking...
Because he won awards for that movie.
He's super popular.
He was making a comeback.
That movie would have gotten lots of cash.
Him as Firefly? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I digress. We're back to
his role,
the movie.
His shit in Doom Patrol is fun. Which, for whatever reason, he's not even wearing the suit. He just does a voiceover.
Oh, yeah.
Well, for the majority of it, I guess. But, like, that's kind of crazy. That it looks like him without look like him. Because it's a robot. Anyway.
Who's the guy with the blue eyes? I forgot his name.
He's an old friend of Victor.
His car's spinning out right now.
Because I don't remember his name, but he's like this leading doctor in, like, whatever the disease is.
Whatever the disease for Nora.
Yeah. And, he's like an old friend of Victor, I think. And so he like picks him to help him because he needs an organ donor. And I'm pretty sure because Barbara is a match for her blood type.
Yeah.
And she's like the same height, same everything. Like certain things that are about her are the same size, weight, height, blah, blah, blah. So he picks her to harvest her organs, which is really fucked up. But it's like,
yeah,
you know.
I just love his design in this too, like
because it's a thing of.
I like that it looks like a snow globe. Honestly,
I'll do anything to save my wife, and he holds himself to a certain standard because it is all about just wanting my wife back.
Yeah, and
stopping at nothing to save her. But then he like reaches a point where he's like, I don't care if anybody else lives as long as she survives. So he's like, I'm going to kill this girl, take all of her organs out, and then put them in my wife and not have any remorse.
Which is like...
Because my heart is cold.
Cold as ice. Dun, dun, dun. It's cold.
Because that would be super cool.
What a cool fight scene song.
It was the intro, and Mr. Freeze is like fighting the police, freezing motherfuckers. And
that's
playing in the background. And you get a super cool, like, classic, like, through the roof. And here comes Batman, and they're just trading punches. And you got cold as ice. And then he does, like, a knee slide on, like, a patch of ice. Takes out a goon. And then he, like, does a cape flip. And he tries to super kick Mr. Freeze.
That's incredible.
Right? DC, we're here. Warner Brothers.
Luke, no, we're not gonna scab.
Bro, I think it would be worth getting my name out there at this point.
Good God, no.
Look, I feel bad, I do, but for the guy who's trying to make it, I'm gonna take work where I can get it.
How else am I gonna get it? So,
I am the night.
Oh, some paper.
I am Batman.
Even Bruce's eyes sometimes don't have color. It's weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like certain like things. They gotta do it.
I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie at all. I'm just saying that's just something I've noticed. Because we've been doing so many of these animated shows and
Well, you mentioned you liked the red in the submarine. I like that. This is cold, so they got a blue tinge.
Yeah, right. I love that. And that's when I'm interested with what Bruce Timm and them will do with what's the new Batman one they just got put on Prime, or it's coming to Prime. It was on HBO Max. Caped Crusader. The new Bruce Timm like adult one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited for what they're going to do with that style, because I feel like they're going to do a lot of stuff like this where it's like the noir, like washed out color shit.
Dude, I love the like cityscape like stills they do in the show too.
Yeah.
Like the pan ups.
But then then I love that they keep drawing attention that he has these like piercing blue eyes. So you're like, oh yeah, that guy's important because his eyes are really blue.
I do like the robotic Freeze voice.
Yeah.
I like the suit with the red eyes. Here's a giant rock made of gold.
Figure it out.
At any cost, figure it out. Let me crack my knuckles and get to hacking the system.
We gotta do the stereotypical. Just got clacking on the keyboard a little bit.
AB negative. Wow. It's a rare blood type.
18. What? Barbara Gordon.
Perfect match. She's 20? Oh, then that's totally fine. She's 110 pounds. I think it said like, what is it? Like 5'6" or some shit? Her random roommate. Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon.
Are you there? I need your
Hello.
organs.
This is Mr. Freeze.
Hello.
Or Sir Alan Rickman.
Alan.
Somehow they landed on, hey, it's Mr. Freeze.
Dude, Alan Rickman would have been phenomenal.
You know what another voice I should pull out? You know who else was in contention for this? Hey, it's me, Mr. Freeze. Good old Jesse the Body. Could you imagine if he was Mr. Freeze?
I'm getting back on Alan Rickman, dude. That would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, if they would have gone with, like, the tragic.
The Batman. You think you're the darkness.
See, this is another thing that's interesting about the show and also what Tim Burton did with his movies, where it's this weird, like,
50s gothic,
but it's like retro futuristic aesthetic.
Yeah.
Where they're
it's like
clothing in the cars look like it's from the 50s, but then it's also like this future tech that Batman has and all these other like
it's like
characters, and
it's like if we progressed in a different way.
Yeah.
And like this is like we talk about like
just
cool
rolling
entrances.
up with two fucking polar
Okay, so
bears.
like there's like two entrances that stick with me. It's this one, and then it's Batman Forever when they're at Nigma's party, and
your entrance was good, his was better.
Yeah, like those right there are like ultimate Batman shows up to shit.
Let me look right at you. Hey, Mr. Freeze, go after her.
Like how he's like, I'm gonna shoot this dude with my freeze gun and let him get eaten by this polar bear.
Hey, take it easy.
Unless you tell me which one of you was Barbara Gordon. Barbara, no! I just yelled your name right in front of him.
Hey, Barbara, stop. Barbara Gordon, please stop.
And it,
not the freeze gun.
I would love to see like a futuristic Batman where we get like a Clint Eastwood or somebody super serious, super like badass Batman, and you get like Will Ferrell or somebody to be Robin, Nightwing. Like that part right there, it'd just be Will Ferrell yelling, "Barbara, no! Barbara, wait! Wait, Barbara, don't tell him."
Sounds like the worst movie ever made.
Because you just get like a serious love-hate between him and Bruce. Because like American Badass, Clint Eastwood, and you get dipshit comedian Will Ferrell.
No, you cannot sell me on this movie. I'm not buying it. I refuse.
And you get Morgan Freeman, Mr. Freeze.
Stop. That's not even.
You see, the thing about
Oh, stop it.
Bruce Wayne is that found out that he was Batman. No, you know the thing about Edward Nygma is
This is just cold-blooded.
right?
Freezing the chandelier to make a drop on him. You could have just froze him. It's like, no, I'm going to impale you.
Oh yeah, I'm an acrobat. I could just tumble out of this.
I forgot I got really good reflexes.
It's so funny because he's just like, when he could have gotten out of the way as it was still rocking.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have been as dramatic. Okay.
This part too is pretty good because he takes a guy's motorcycle.
It's okay. I'm a limo. That's my motorcycle. It's okay. I'm a limo driver.
Here, take more Corvette, is what he says when he tosses the guy the keys. That's what it is.
Oh, Jesus. That's how he gets the bike.
Here, take my Corvette. Because I'm just going to trash this goddamn bike.
It's a fair trade.
Well, yeah, because he just gave him a fucking Corvette.
After I destroyed the bike, yeah.
But it's like, obviously, Bruce can just go buy another Corvette.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I like
Because
the
those
giant,
shots,
like,
those CG mixed in shots aren't bad, but they're just still kind of.
this doesn't make any sense to me. Because like
It just kind of still kind of feels off a little bit.
I do
But
like
I love
the
it.
motorcycle deal.
But I do love that it's still got this like hand drawn, like when they're driving, and it's just the
whoosh of the side.
whoosh, yeah, and the blur of lights. Again, I just love.
I love the big like armored cars.
I love this car. Like I love his. Even in the Batman and Robin movie, I liked that car that he had, like the tank thing that he had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like oof, okay. I don't know about those, but I want also to my criticisms of this have nothing to say about the animation because I've never animated anything in my life, and I know how hard it is to make an animated movie. I'm just saying you can tell that they were trying different styles.
Oh yeah, no, because like this part right here is just like what?
Yeah, it just seems out of place, doesn't it? It just feels kind of off.
And right there too is like you didn't see that semi, and the like other 30 cars.
I love it when like
because the reaction time was nothing.
I love it.
Like, oh no,
dude, I love it when they like whenever there's a superhero property, they have to make
car pile up.
You have to make the cops just terrible. God.
Okay, I'm not a motorcycle guy. I'm not a stunt guy, but I feel like doing a wheelie 100 feet before the thing would have kind of slowed you down a little.
Yeah.
I feel like you wanted to hit it with the front and
Again,
then ramp up.
I don't know why they were doing. Maybe I don't know. It might have been easier to do it with the CG. It's just kind of a weird blend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like this still.
Man, cold-blooded.
For the most part, honestly, this animation still holds up. I mean, it still looks great for a movie that was made in 1998.
This part too is like.
Yeah, that would be painful.
That's so cool. Like, and then I like this too because he's an acrobat, you know.
Yeah.
And he just does it like a fucking kip out.
But now he's stuck there.
What am I supposed to tell her dad?
Oopsie.
Sorry, I got her kidnapped.
Oopsie poopsie.
Oops, the kitty. Wake up, bitch.
I said, shut up.
Take a few of these.
Here's some pills. Shut your mouth.
Make it feel better. It's rat poison. I'm trying to make you die. Harvest your organs.
Yeah, take some more.
You can't beat her up, Victor, because you need her in one piece because we're going to do a brain transfer.
What?
I mean, essentially.
Then it's not even his wife, man.
But with the brain, it is.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Is it really possible, though, you think, to transplant a brain?
I don't know.
And, like, keep the memories and shit?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy on the couch.
There would be so many, like, nerve endings you'd have to, like, connect.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I always love how Bullock looks like he's strung out all the time. Like he's clearly the alcoholic cop.
The alcoholic guy that's just like, I put too much time into the force. I'm a drunk.
I don't agree with his
I'm
methods.
a dirty cop because I ain't one to turn down a handout.
I don't agree with drinking at work, but man, he's a good cap.
He always gets his man.
Sometimes you gotta play dirty, alright? That's just how it is.
I want to know who they consulted for this doctor's appointment for the bandages. Like, yeah, that looks good. He hurt his chest.
Make him kind of look like a mummy a little bit.
He bruised his ribs. Just put a Band-Aid on him.
Like a quarter of a mummy.
Don't make sense. Like, if he bruised his ribs, what the fuck? What's this supposed to do for him?
It's like you can't really do much for that. But, you know, it's a kid's show. They got to show that he's injured, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you forget. Because there's a lot of good adult themes in these episodes or these TV shows, these TV movies and all that. Barbara.
Babs.
Yeah, but she's only one of 18. How did he know?
Nora Freeze right above Barbara Gordon.
What are the odds?
Right? Because F, G,
dude, alphabetical by last name.
Wow.
It's right in front of our faces, Robin.
Holy alphabetical order, Batman.
Listen here.
What kind of a mattress do we have where she has the...
Who the hell put the trampoline under the mattress? Real funny prank. Ha ha.
You let the prisoner... I mean...
Yeah, she's not a... It's consensual. She's not a prisoner here.
Our guest.
She's a guest. She can leave any time.
She can leave every time she wants. But if she doesn't agree to this,
I will harvest her bones. Harvest her down to her bones.
We use everything.
I mean, fuss all you want, but hey, remember, I'm a bad guy, okay? I'm the villain here.
I don't care who dies as long as my wife survives.
And then she's going to be like, oh my God, you killed all these people.
Right?
Just let me die.
Which is kind of the thing in Harley Quinn that they do. Because
it's like,
she
I
gets
didn't
fixed.
ask for you to hurt all these people.
Wow. And then they get a divorce. Or then he dies.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah, and she's out partying like she's in college because she's like 10 years frozen. I always liked the idea, too, that Mr. Freeze was bald. Because, like, all the hair froze away from his body.
It's shattered.
Because I think it's weird when they try to do the white hair thing.
Yeah.
Because they really tried in Gotham, and I hate that show. Because it worked so well when it was just...
I never watched
Jim Gordon. But they tried so hard to establish Batman villains.
Without
Batman. Because
like
Batman
Sony
was like
making
15.
A movie about Morbius.
But like all these villains were like in their 30s and Batman's 15. And it's like you can't have these villains without Batman. Like they're kind of the whole
It's
reason.
almost as silly as like making a movie based on Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah. And they changed a lot of things to where he's an animal activist. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Then he gets bitten by a lion and then he's like got radioactive lion powers. Again, back to the movie, the Subzero. Again, back to the like all blue washed out color. Big fan of it,
dude. And again, I love that his eyes are red.
Yeah, and like how because especially with the wash out of the blue, like it really stands out. He's like I said, he's got a really cool design in this show, in this whole continuity. They kind of... The Arkham version 2 is great. I love
when they
the
switched from this to the New Adventures of Batman, they really lack in the Mr. Freeze design.
Yeah. Well, then Batman Beyond is weird because his head is still alive.
Yeah.
He gets put on like a robot body.
Yeah, it's weird.
Good. It was a cool episode, but it's kind of a weird concept. Again, I go back to what I said earlier. I like
playing hanky panky, and then she walked in on him, and now they're pissed.
I like that his helmet in this show and in this movie looks like a snow globe.
Yeah.
And then I like in the Arkham games, it kind of has more like an astronaut look a little bit, but it still looks like a snow globe, like just a rounder one.
Mr. Freeze is cool, man.
Always been a cool character. I love Mr. Freeze. In my opinion. Now, the new 52 Mr. Freeze was not a fan of. Which again, it just shows too, like with the right writers, they can make the most like random obscure characters mean something.
Yeah.
Look at fucking Across the Spider-Verse. They made the Spot.
Dude, they made the Spot relevant.
A really cool character.
Because I liked how they
started
started out by making fun of him.
Yeah.
And then it became
progressively
this
made him.
Yeah. And it's funny because he's like, I'm not your nemesis. You made me. That's great.
coming soon to Drawn to Marvel.
Well, I feel like that could just be in the whole realm of drawn to Disney. Drawn to Disney, you know, because their property.
That Star Wars, Marvel, all of it was just. Also, what kills me about Bruce's design in this and like how big he is. I feel like some people would start gotta be deducing something that, like, first of all, Bruce Wayne is built like a brick shit house. And so is Batman.
Like, there can't be that many 6'5" guys in Gotham.
How many fucking tanks of a man exist in this city?
How many absolute units are there wandering around? Because,
exactly.
Like, just because of his recreational activities, they're like, wow, Bruce Wayne knows like 6 different types of kung fu.
At some point, you like, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I see a dude that's like really big, like really fucking jacked, I'm like, who does this motherfucker need to beat up? Like,
right? Yeah.
Who is he fighting?
What are you insecure about, man?
Who are you running from? Well, I know who I'm running from.
Myself.
Because he would beat the shit out of me. But yes, I'm running for myself too. And this therapy session is brought to you by Drawn to DC. Yeah, this is so interesting because it's like there's always, I feel like, this issue where people are working on a villain that they know people like, because they'll get to a certain point where like you're feeling for them, but then they have to do something to make the switch flip for you to be like, no, they're still a piece of shit. And kidnapping someone and like trying to fucking harvest their organs, it's too far, man.
That's what I said. Like, because none of this would have happened because her condition progressed and they needed a donor. Because the freaking submarine came in and destroyed his shit. Yeah. So he's like, now I gotta go fucking beat your asses now.
Yeah. I was
being a stand-up
live my life.
Being.
I was hanging out with polar bears.
I adopted a little Eskimo boy.
I fed his village.
I gave him fish. How was Jesus feeding the multitude today?
Honestly, I think, if anything, I should be applauded for the work I've done here.
I love the all whites of the eyes and the Batmobile design.
Mwah. Top notch.
It's
Chef's
so
kiss.
Long and sleek.
Yes. Well, and you know, again, it goes back to the art style of like it's still retro, but has that futuristic look because it still feels like the Batmobile, and the Batmobile always is going to be this piece of technology that you're not going to see
out of time.
Yeah. I mean, like the fucking Tumbler, you know? You're not going to see that out on the streets.
The Nolan trilogy makes sense as to how he gets his shit.
Yeah.
But at some point, somebody else other than Lucius is going to realize, like, freaking...
that one guy that tries to rat him out in the second movie?
He's like, I want $1 million a month for the rest of my life. Now you're telling me that...
you stop with the Morgan Freeman.
You want some marmalade?
The Schwarzenegger I can understand, but the Freeman, it's a bridge too far.
Morgan Freeman.
Because I was the Mr.
I am
Freeze.
God.
Again.
Who would you get to be the live
dude.
action Mr. Freeze?
The transition from his red goggles to the tail lights. Ugh.
Right?
Great transitions.
Dude, like, that's the thing that they do really well in this show, too. And it's kind of stupid how awesome it is. They're just transitioning. Batman.
Can
you imagine
waking up to two dudes standing over
dynamic duo standing over your bed?
Like, we're gonna fuck you up. Just kidding. We need some information. And then this, fuck. Just trying to sleep and you get your ass beat by these two.
You wake up to motherfucking, I won't kill you, but I will make you wish you were fucking dead, Batman. Because he basically breaks their limbs. Better call a doctor.
But yeah, just look how beautiful, like, just the...
I do love
how it looks like a comic book, like the black.
Just all black.
Because you have the blue ink.
You have the blue, yeah.
Love it.
It's fantastic.
It's like how they made Venom's costume look, like in the comics on the cartoon.
Outline.
Yeah.
Dude, the 90s was great for animation. Because you had the X-Men.
Dude, you know what?
Spider-Man.
This past year has actually been like crazy good for animation.
Yeah.
Because Across the Spider-Verse, the Mario Brothers movie, which
the new Superman
that's
show.
one thing. I know it's
That's
a different movie, but I will say this because I watched it recently. That movie, I have my own criticisms of it, but I enjoyed it, and it looks great. Like, it was gorgeous. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh yeah, no, it was great.
Across the Spider-Verse was amazing. Like, it just everything.
I loved all the different art styles that they did too. It was great.
So like this is why I love doing this show now, because I'm really starting to understand and appreciate how good animation is and how far it's come as a medium.
Freaking Scarlet Spider, Andy Samberg was ridiculously great.
But it's like this. It's the same thing. It's just like it shows you how important like shading is, because his costume looks like it's from a 90s comic book, and it looks like this, you know, where it's got that blue hue in the darkness, and yeah.
Well, it's because you're trying to show definition and like shape, so
and you're showing it on
use white because it
2D
would be
plane.
Yeah, it would be too in your face. I love Alfred's sass in this show.
Yeah.
Did you notice, like 2 seconds ago, one of Robin's gloves was his skin tone?
I did not notice that.
Remember
right
all
here.
The action figures for these?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's just like, especially in this time where everything was made to be a toy. I mean, it still is.
Well, that's the whole reason that Batman and Robin sucked so much.
Because they all had to have like 3 different costumes in the same movie so they could sell the toys.
And Batgirl was only in it for like less than 10 minutes. And she had, 3 costume changes?
She just shows up, helps, and then...
She shows up in the cowl, takes it off, she's in the domino, and then she gets the super cool ice one.
Yeah.
Yeah? Who kicked Ivy's botanical butt? Yeah, that was me. It's like, she clearly doesn't want to fight. She kind of let you win because she didn't want to get her ass kicked. Because Ivy's always been more of a mental thing and let the plants do the fighting.
Yeah.
Which, why they got Uma Thurman, I don't know.
Oh, I love her, Uma Thurman.
Because she's
a good actress, but
she was
just chewing scenery in that
like
movie.
She wasn't doing the part justice.
They're doing a lot of interesting shots in this movie. Like that's a really good shot.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yes.
See, that's where I think the CG and like really works is with the
really
shading
tell,
like that.
And it was
that car chase scene that was earlier with Dick just seemed kind of out of place.
Yeah, because like those cop cars when they zoomed in,
they looked kind of stiff.
Yeah.
Like it's 1998.
Well,
they were still learning this shit.
I don't really remember if they're harvesting her organs, but it's like a blood transfusion type deal, at the very least.
But it's one of the things like it'll kill her to save Nora or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, "I'll be okay with a blood transplant type thing."
It's more than that, isn't it?
She didn't realize that she's gonna die, because they're gonna drain her ass.
Like a vampire.
And I also like the fact that he's adopted this kid to move the plot around.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it moving.
We gotta have just a random kid character to keep the kids invested and keep the story moving.
I'm gonna kill her ass.
look at the shading on that gun. That's good gun animation.
Like right here too.
Yeah, this is good. But that's the thing I've noticed too, because I've gone back and I've looked at like comics from the 90s and stuff, and I'm always worried of like feeling like if it holds up or not, and I'm like, for me, a lot of this still does because it's still indicative of that time frame. And animation looks different now, but that's cool. And like we got to see the shift from this like 2D stuff to 3D.
It's that nostalgia factor too, because you already know you like it. So when you watch it again, it kind of holds up in that aspect because it's the feeling that it gives you when you watch it. I do like the water spray over the bat plane.
But again, I also commend them because I think it's cool that they were trying different things. Because I feel like at this point they've been doing the show for so long, that I feel like they.
I think they're doing it for like 6 years almost.
Yeah, because this is 98, and this had been after Mask of the Phantasm, so I feel like they learned a lot from that too, and I don't know. I think they made it just a better overall experience because they're like, yeah, we're just gonna.
This one didn't go to theaters.
This wasn't rushed, and this was made for TV, so that's why it's only like an hour and 6 minutes long.
Because it just.
Dude, see, this is a cool shot. I like the CG shot.
I always loved the. Let me hover the plane real quick.
Yeah, because again, it's all ego. It's all like, yeah, bitch, you're scared of me. Because he's crazy.
He gets off on that shit.
He's a psycho.
See, like that?
The fire.
It's just done
the fire
really cool.
effect.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Batman being the good dad, being like, go get your girlfriend. Like,
yeah.
Because they aren't really a thing in this yet, are they? Or is this where this, like, because they.
I think it's far enough down the line where they are established.
Wait, they were on a date earlier,
yeah,
weren't
they were on a date, and he was asking Gordon about her. Because I feel like they were meeting there.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely together earlier. Because I couldn't remember at this point if they had introduced the romance or not.
It's funny because I'm pretty sure, like, every time they rebrand, they like, Batgirl kind of stays the same age for some reason. But, like, the Robins change.
Yeah,
they get a little older. She originally had a thing with Dick, and then they rebranded with Jason, and then she had a thing with him, I'm pretty sure, too. And then
I don't know. I thought she just had a thing with Tim.
And then I was saying the Arkham, she had a thing with Tim. But it's just like they kind of weirdly alternate the universe.
That's like her canon event.
But she has to have a thing with Robin.
That's her canon event across all Batman media is that she has to date a Robin.
Or, Batman at some point.
Or if you also notice with the whenever they reboot the continuity, Dick always ends up with a different character to date.
Yeah.
Because he used to date Barbara, he dated Starfire.
It's funny because in Young Justice, they kind of talk about that because...
the polar bears!
Zatanna is trying...
They're an endangered species, Batman. What the fuck?
Because Zatanna's dad, takes on the mantle of Dr. Fate because of his background in magic, which is dope, by the way. But because her dad is basically a ghost now, spirit, she can't be living on her own because she's 13. So she goes and joins them at the Justice Mountain. It's not the Titan Tower, it's the mountain, Mount Justice. And so she lives there, and later on in the show, you find out that
God, look at this shit.
Dick had a thing with Zatanna too.
Yeah.
And different characters throughout the universe. Because he's with Starfire, I think, towards later in the show.
Also, I find it funny that he's shooting them with ice because it's burning. So it's like, that shit's going to melt super fast.
Yeah. Unless it's dry ice.
Yeah. Just saying, there's a lot of fire and shit. I feel like that. look at the shading and the lighting and how they play with your perspective on that landing, because it kind of looked like it was almost like a 3D shot, but it's crazy to think even in the 90s how much they were pushing animation with these characters. That's why DC will always have a great animated library, and Marvel doesn't even bother. It seems like
it's like they take more time with these than they do the universe, and it's kind of weird and
kind
doesn't
of
make
awesome
sense
at the same time.
Because you would think that their biggest pull is the silver screen, but it's not. It's buying the movie off of
or having it on or having it on Max and watching it.
Because that's one of the only reasons to have Max at this point is.
Doing this show is pretty much the only reason why I still have Max. And that's honestly fine with me, because a lot of these movies I end up really enjoying. So this one included.
Nah, man, you're on your own. I'm out of here. I was here against my will in the first place.
You mean the guy that you kind of held there against his will is not going to help you?
Dude. The fact that Batman was we're just going to launch the giant crane hook back into ourselves and bust the ice open.
Well, he's the world's greatest detective. Barbara helps because she's a real hero. I'm a real American. God dang, look at the shading.
It's the story of the Good Samaritan. It's I am a good Samaritan.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Some shots look like it's perfectly from a 90s comic book and just
Dude,
that 90s aesthetic.
The flame busting back. It's cool too, because it's there is still some retribution for him right here.
Yeah, I mean there's always a little bit of redemption to him, but again, wouldn't this ice be melting by now? I feel like. Get out of here! Go now!
Gotta get to the chopper!
Come on!
The bat chopper! Okay.
Cool.
Dude, it took him a while to get to this boat.
Yeah. Get out of there, Robin. The score is also fantastic in this movie. Always great. Always great. Dang. The bad guy has to bite it.
Which is a thing, though, that they did that because they had a thing in their contract where you couldn't show people getting dying.
Yeah.
But there's a few episodes too where Barbara is literally gonna die, or she does die in one series, and they make it to where she didn't die.
Yeah.
She came back because it's death is not allowed. Just you can't shoot people. That was a big thing. It's the main reason why Spider-Man has ray gun blasters.
Yeah.
Little pew-pews.
Yeah, that's why a lot of those shows have lasers and stuff with their guns. Well, you got to get them on the Saturday morning, and you can't have actual bullets on the Saturday morning.
Dude, somebody
because I'm pretty sure G.I. Joe even shot lasers because they couldn't shoot bullets.
There's a whole thing in the 80s and 90s where it was you couldn't do so many things. Because Wolverine couldn't even use his claws.
Schnicked.
somebody at some point, like Batman, probably should have been like, "Bro, freeze! Look, you gotta just let her die at this point.
Come on,
just fucking."
Do you think she'd be cool with all this shit? I don't think so. Just saying. I wonder if they heard my fart on the mic. I didn't put it down there because that's gross.
Stupid.
I don't want to give anybody pink eye or nothing, but
Too late for that.
You already fired it on the mic.
But like like this right here too, because like
great shot.
The oil rig
like that, like
explodes.
the blue, like when it shines at like that close up, but it was like that blue on his cowl.
Yeah.
Shit. Fucking Dick Grayson saving the day. Richard.
The face she just gave him to was like, "You're gonna get the best speech of your life."
Best speech of your life.
Thanks for saving my life. I gotta go save the villain.
Get that main theme pumping as we're wrapping up this movie. Pow! Dive. Save Freeze. 'Cause he's Batman.
Freeze.
Like, oh man, it's so cool.
The crack in his
and then like the yellow and the orange shading from the fire. Like, you're right. It's all about the details, man.
God, and then he drops. Dude, that shot right there with the explosion and it went all black, and instead of blue being shaded, it was yellow. Like that. That's great.
Fantastic.
Man. That's phenomenal.
I don't know if you guys can tell by hearing this, but this is us gushing over this movie.
Dude, this movie is so good, though.
No, yeah, it's
so good.
I love this animation. I love
I'm gonna
everything
tell you right
about
now,
this art
other
style.
than the fact that there's a lot of weird CG, this is gonna get like.
I feel like we're both gonna go. Score. We're gonna go both perfect 21 on this. We're gonna blackjack this.
I feel like it, dude, because the story is great. It's only an hour, but it feels like longer than that because there's just so much packed into it. You get a little background of
what's that fire, man?
Barbara.
Oh, good explosion.
Barbara Richard, story.
Yeah. No, I
you get to see little Bat family,
it's a lot of nostalgia.
Like that right there too. Like, how many cartoons do you see where he does a spin and the cape wraps around him too to like
the detail?
That.
Yeah,
dude, this shit was ahead of its time, man.
Well, it's just it's when it was a perfect time to have that cartoon, and it was a perfect time.
Yeah.
Like the right people were working on the right project, and they got
shit too is awesome.
They got people that were very passionate about the characters, and of course that turns out to be a really good thing. Usually that turns out great.
It's fantastic.
And there's so many things like watching this. When you go back and you look at like when we did the first episode with Phantasm and this, it's like you start to really understand like how much of a cornerstone the animated series was to Batman as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many things from the animated series was in fucking The Dark Knight. It was in the Arkham games. It was even in the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is such an impactful piece
Harley
of
Quinn
Batman's
is one
lore.
of the most popular Batman villains right now, and it came from this show.
Yeah, it was literally created on this show. Like,
my wife, she's alive.
Gets me every time that Heart of Glass and this episode, when he cries, the fucking tears freeze. Great, it's great shit.
But that right there, though, it makes me think of when Ivy pulls the plug and then Batman tells him that she's still alive. My wife, she lives.
Oh, by the way, I survived. I just broke a
the
leg.
fact that he gave himself a freaking cast.
Ice cast.
This is so cool. Gosh, man.
Classic film. Batman and Mr. Freeze. Subzero. 1998.
Yeah.
Classic
Enjoyed
movie.
that one.
Love it. Yeah, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we've been looking for it. I think finally happened. Episode 10. I think we finally found our blackjack.
We united the 7 and got the 21.
21. Perfect. Across the board, everything. Story, the acting, the art style. I mean, I think you guys heard plenty of how much we gushed about the art of this. And the more I go back and I look at these things, the more I understand, like, how important this was to the character and how lucky we were to have this in our be growing up with this stuff.
With him in this so hard.
Yeah.
And then he kidnaps
ruins
a girl.
it because he kidnaps someone.
But then he's like, shit, we're going to die. I'll help save you guys because if my wife don't live, I don't live.
But then he's like, oh, she's doing well and alive. And I should cry. Well, thanks so much. No video, just audio this week. But thanks for listening to this Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero commentary for episode 10.
Keep on driving.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.